Hello and welcome everyone to our next episode of England DNA. So off camera we've had a little bit of an unusual time, to be honest, and it's been pretty poor generally. A couple of little positive parts. We've got new tactics to sort of tweak yet again. The 4-2-3-1 just stopped working completely for us with the team that we've got, and it puts us in a pretty unusual position going into next season because we're pretty far on the table. We're not going to go down. But yeah, it's not been great. We're not going to be going into the playoffs either. So what I thought I would do, as there's not too much to play for, I'm going to do an episode now. We're going to play 2 matches and do a player attribute development review now for basically the whole season, like a full one on most of the players anyway. And then in the last episode, we won't do any player attribute reviews because nothing was going to change too much, I don't think, in the last 3 months of the season. But then we'll do like a full stats review of the season from the players. Not team stats, because basically I've changed the tactics so drastically. I'm not too sure what we're going to get out of the team stats, but with the personal player stats, we can probably get at least some from. So we'll look at that going into the next episode anyway. So for this episode, 2 matches, a player development review, and I think we'll start off with the player review first, and then we'll do the 2 matches afterwards. We talk about the tactics and all that kind of stuff. Okay, to make sure I'm actually out of the way this time as well. I noticed on the last episode that I did, I was actually covering the attributes of quite a few players, the physical ones, so I decided that just to leave loads of them out because there wasn't really too much to show anyway. So I just showed a few youngsters, and I thought I would just do this one-off episode where we show all the players, or all the players that are changing anyway. We'll show them all now together, then we'll do a full stats review. I thought that was the better way to do it. Hopefully that makes sense. As well, it's a dead season really for us. It's ended up being that way, of course. Not fighting for promotion, not fighting for relegation. So yeah, in that sort of middle period, as it were. Let's start with the goalkeeper, then Aled Harrison. So last 6 months, a little bit of an improvement from him across a few of the attributes there, positioning going up by 1, passing and one-on-ones. Slow development a little bit this year in terms of actual raw attributes changing, but again, long term is going to be our goalkeeper. One thing actually I will note to you right now is Ben Garrett and who was it? Was it Camwa? No, was it Shaughnessy? It was Shaughnessy. So it's not this season, 2027, it's next season, 2028. So we do get to keep them for one more season, which is good, obviously, for us. But yeah, then they're going to be gone. So Mika Hartikainen, he comes in as our backup next season. We've got 1 more year of him developing in the 21s. He'll continue to improve. Then he'll be our absolute backup, which is starting to get a little more dicey. I think he's actually okay. He could probably compete well enough, but I feel like our safety blanket of Ben Garrett is going to be gone. I'm a bit concerned about that. Shaughnessy, I'm not as bothered about. He's a really good, solid player, but we've got youngsters that could use the minutes anyway, so it's all right. But that's Aled Harrison anyway. Let's move on to the next player. So Mitchell King, a +1 for balance. Nothing else has really changed. So look, a pretty consistent player. He had a lot of interest in him last season, which we'll have to monitor. His acceleration and pace isn't really changing too much, which is a little concerning considering he's not like a dominant centre back, as it were. His jumping reach has gone up a little bit. His strength's pretty poor. Hopefully he gets a bit quicker, really. I could put him on his quickness now if I suppose I wanted to, and just keep him focused on that. But yeah, a really good centre-back. Side of a back 3 is still perfect, I think, for me. Kyle Andrew looks really good. Agility's gone up +2 because that's what he's working on now, I believe. Yeah, agility and balance. In fact, he should be on ball-playing defender, is what he should be on here. And yeah, he's looking like a really good young defender. I thought he was going to be more of a late bloomer, and it looks like he's going to be, because I think he's better than Hudson now. So Kyle Andrew is going to be our 3rd choice centre-back. I think he's good in a back 4 or a back 3, really. Or he's going to be. I'm saying he's going to be. Not right now. Maybe he's going to be, But yeah, pretty good. Pretty good centre-back again there. Hudson, a little bit of a stagnation from him. He's okay. He's side of a back 3 only. Centre-back in a back 4, he's terrible. Not because that's what I think he is in his attributes, but he's also proved it in some games as well. So on a slight decline on some of them here, but there we are. Sam Heller, determination +2. Now, where's that come from? Mentoring, that's where that's coming from. Okay, so looking at him just then reminded me to check Mitchell King's personality. It's now balanced. It was low self-belief. So let's go to training. Let's go to mentoring. And we can see here now there are no more players that have got low self-belief anywhere. We had, I think, Mitchell King anyway, but that just shows it there in any case, which is good to see. Good to see that it's had a bit of an impact, at least a little bit of a help there. But yeah, Sam Heller, going back to the player we're looking at, his 6-month review, pretty decent. Yeah, he's going down on some that it says, but we'll see if that happens again into the season. Let's go 12 months on him. What's he been doing 12 months? A little bit of stagnation, but he's going to be playing like a different role. So we'll see what happens over the next few months. Really needs to improve his dribbling just to be able to like take the ball and move with it a little bit at the high levels. But yeah, a little bit concerned about his stagnation, really. Brendan Hughes. Brendan Hughes has been developing really nicely across the board. A few +1s there, but It's been a really good few months for him. I'm really excited to see where he goes. He could be a really good player on the side of like a midfield 3. Could be a good pivot player. Could be a lot of different things for us, really. Could be a good pivot player, really. I'm just sort of hoping he becomes more than that. Right now, like, acceleration, tackling, positioning, concentration, he's actually a pretty good pivot player right now. For an 18-year-old, of course. But the hope is that he becomes more than that because he's starting from a pretty good position. But there you are, Brendan Hughes. Justin Parker-Trott continues to excel in all areas, looking really, really good. That is just his 6-month review. His 12-month is looking very, very special indeed. And what's he going to be? Could he be a good enough winger? Potentially, you know. How old is he again? He's only 17 still, so he looks pretty good as well there. Okay, Tom Kiernan, very good player, progressing slowly. And again, you're only really seeing the new gens because they're the only real players that are changing at the moment. The other players have just sort of basically plateaued and stayed where they are, which is fine. They all did improve at least at the start, and they've got sort of where they are. But Tom Kiernan's there, improving slowly. Maybe he shouldn't be playing the first team as often, but we need players that can play in that sort of 10 role, to be honest. But so there you are. That's the coach's sort of opinion of his ability as we go through the months there. And that is your 6-month review of John King, our star striker. Does not like playing in a single striker system in terms of goals scored. What's he even got this year? He scored a few in one game recently. He's still got 40 and 34. It's okay. But it's, I mean, Joe Powell scored more than him, although he's quite a few penalties, of course. But yeah, he needs to be in a 2-man strike force, I think, for him to be really effective. And as you'll see here, we had Victor injured for like 5 months. He got a really bad injury, and this is exactly the reason I was trying to figure out a solution with one striker, because I knew this could happen, and this would have just tanked our chances anyway. And yeah. And it's not just that, right? But it's the way that we were playing before wasn't quite how we wanted to perfectly play an ideal scenario. But 2, more specifically, it was causing a lot of bad match ratings across players across all positions because we had such a lack of the ball at times in games. And that's another reason I wanted to sort of change it. But that's your review anyway for the first team players. Let's have a look at some youngsters. Mika, the backup goalkeeper, still improving, and he's going to continue to improve for another year. I think by the time we come to this time next year, he'll be a good enough backup to play in the first team squad. We need to try and get him some minutes though, really. So I think that we'll still keep him available for the U21s for a few years until he's too old to play for them, so he can keep getting his minutes in. And we'll just keep him in the first team squad, make him play for the under-21s, and we'll keep playing our first choice keeper, Aled, right now until he gets injured, really, which is likely because he gets injured quite a lot. David Webster is in the under-18s. Now, he looks like he's going to be another centre-back that we could have that's half decent. This is why I'm thinking back 3. You know, this is why I'm thinking it, because we've got a lot of players that can do that sort of role. But it's the left back's the frustrating position. The left back position is the frustrating position, like I mentioned in the previous episode. Well, left back or left wing back, have you want to look at it. It really is annoying, to be honest. Unless we could 4 centre backs across the back, it's hard. It's really hard to find somebody who's going to compete. And obviously, we can't really control who's left footed coming through the academy. We've got Brennan Turan, of course, who is left footed and is progressing nicely. Actually, to be fair to him. Could be a potential side of a back 3, maybe full back in a back 4. Definitely not going to be a wing back, I don't think. So potentially somebody there. Giannis, not really doing the business yet for us in his development, but hopefully going towards the end of the season and maybe next season he can kick on. His attributes technically are terrible, but hopefully he can improve at the very least in some of these. He's getting some greens there, I suppose. Okay, so Emre Markey, what a name that is, by the way. He's doing okay in the under-18s. Looks a bit similar to Tom Kiernan, doesn't he? He's got that sort of like number 10 vibe to him that isn't really got the pace to do much else in the wide areas, but hopefully he could be a really good player and looks like he could be a good player in a few years' time, but right now he's not quite ready for the first team. Sean Rothwell has just started to really kick on his development, so we're looking forward to seeing how he develops right now. Again, not too much to show, but hopefully he can show you more about him maybe this time next year, or I'll probably do like a proper attribute review in December next year. So these players will get like another half a year until we look at them again, because yeah, again, looking at them every 3 months doesn't really do enough for us, I don't think. So yeah, we'll look at them probably again next properly in December. And that is pretty much it. That is everybody that's pretty much worth showing you at the moment anyway. So there you are. Again, we'll go through the stats mainly in the next episode. Not going to focus too much on that right now, but what we are going to focus on is a new tactic and to try out something new. Basically, we can just experiment from now to the end of the season. Maybe not too much, because we don't want to get relegated in a dramatic collapse, but it's possible. It's still possible. But yeah, let's get into the tactic anyway. Okay, so new tactic. Very similar to the original one. A few differences. One, the passing is dropped to standard. Got a bit of an underlap and overlap situation going on here. And we work ball into the box, be more expressive, is also ticked. So a few differences to the original tactic right there and then off the bat. Other changes are going to be as follows. So we've got an inverted wing back here. So Lakim, whoever's the left wing back, doesn't need to be a left wing back per se. They're going to drift into central areas here, and they're going to control the middle of the pitch. That's the idea behind this, right? So they don't have to be a proper wing back going down the wing and whipping them in. Don't have to do that. Secondary to this, what we're going to have Powell as a shallow striker, and Taylor's going to play as a Mazzala. Now, what Taylor's going to do is drift into these wide areas, into the wide zones, right? He's going to go into here. As he goes there, Lakin goes more central, and then Powell can either go slightly left and in behind it, or in behind here, or try and get on the ball himself. Any one of those things. I may even change his role to something else, but for now we're going to keep it as it currently is. Also, Hughes could move into the middle, so we really leave this area exposed. And I mean, I could make it aggressive this side as well. I've moved them both into the central midfield positions, although that's not how this sort of formation is supposed to play in FM. I want the Mazzala, I want the attacking role here to be very aggressive early and potentially drift wide. And there's no real role that I can have. Being playmaker could be one, but they're not really going to get forwards and go and do what I want them to do in possession by him going out wide. And also, if he's a DM, it's going to prevent Lakin from going too narrow too early, which is what I want him to do in this scenario, right? So I could also make this guy a wide centre back, but I don't know if there's any point in doing that if they're going to be right-footed anyway. So right this second, we're going to keep this the same, but we could change that as well. That's also a possibility for a change. The right-hand side, I mean, Justin Perker trot. The problem I've got, right, is if I was to make these both aggressive roles, which I could do, and I move him in, I sort of leave Heller the space to run into. What I could do is make him a more holding role. So although he holds, this guy would go ahead of him, and he can sort of hold in these sort of areas here and create the sort of triangle in a different way. So rather than it being left back in here, left centre mid goes out here, it would be left wing back goes really advanced into these sort of areas because it'll be in attack duty, and then I can make him drop and hold this sort of zone here. We could do that. That would enable me to move Hughes into the middle and let Heller be a free, more attacking role like the original tactic. That's an option. And what that could do is enable me to play potentially Victor and King, play like maybe the shadow striker in here and changing that to a playmaker, something like that, to try and get a second striker in there somehow, like an actual one. I don't know how this is really going to play, but in any case, if it doesn't quite work, I've got an idea in my head of flipping the roles to try and get a different picture out if it doesn't work. But I think this might work anyway. We'll give it a try with a depleted squad, apparently, especially at centre-back. So there you are. Hudson, you can play. So can Shaughnessy. Oh, no. Should we play Andrew, actually? Yeah, let's play Andrew instead. Right centre-back there. That all looks good to me. Okay, so that's going to be your team. You see it there already. Harrison in goal. Shaughnessy, Hughes, Andrew across the back. Lakin, Trott, wing-backs. Taylor, Heller, pivots. Powell, Hughes, 10s. King up front on his own because Victor's got a broken leg. At least I think that's what his injury was. It was a damaged Achilles, actually. It was a long injury, I know that. Okay, he's still got up to 3 months out now, and it happened ages ago. Assistant manager says, media comments, okay. Gonna watch it on extended. I would watch it on like comprehensive and full match, but as important as it is to try and get a tactic to work for us, I also am very aware this season's over. Oh, please, King, you go through. So he just does this. He gets caught so easily. It's a combination of his acceleration, dribbling, I think, maybe his agility, but he gets caught a lot in those kind of scenarios. So he sort of needs players in around him immediately. Normally another striker, but having two shadow strikers should be good enough. Go on, Lakin, play across then. Oh, that had to be a goal. Powell's got to score. He does. What a start to the tactic. However, I've been in this position before. Let's not get carried away. You can't get carried away off of the first highlight or second highlight of the new tactic. That's a good start, though. We've also may have caught them cold a little bit because they're not really ready for this, are they? Which is the other part to it. In fact, before we do this again, I just want to see what the picture was there a second. So this is important, right? We call this intention versus outcome in the coaching world. So it goes there. Lakin plays it across goal. There's no real depth to our attack because there's there's a load of players in the box, and there's then just a big open space there. I mean, that's Heller. Heller is holding pretty well. Does I mean, in real life, you'd hope that Taylor wouldn't necessarily go in the box. He'd just hover like there, but he is going to go in because he's in attack duty. Would Mazzala's support be enough? Would we get enough out of that? Shaughnessy plays into Hughes. Hughes plays it across into Brendan Hughes. No relation. Perkins wins it and counters on us here. Larkin gets to it. Shaughnessy into Hughes. Comes across the pitch. Good lads. Into Justin Bucket-Trott. Doesn't quite get there. They go in behind. We look pretty well set, apart from Hughes being all over the place at the back, and that is going to be a big offside flag. Thank you. Andrew plays it behind to nobody. They're going to regain the ball. They're going to try and play out against us there. That was risky from them. But because they're centre mids, they're going to try and engage it a little. That might actually help us in the high press, you know. Goes in behind to Brendan Hughes. That's a terrible route, though, for him to take. The sort of width he took to get to the ball. John King with the header, and it's just wide. Absolutely battered Reading so far, by the way. And they are in the hunt for the playoffs themselves. Because the whole idea is I wanted a third runner from midfield. So you've got the two shadow strikers behind the striker. I want that third player coming through and coming through early. That's the whole idea. So he's got to be probably in attack duty for that. But we're going to be unbalanced at times. That's the downside I can already see happening. But you see how it's got like... so Taylor's got on the ball. That's my Mazzala, actually. But he's come all the way across the pitch to get on the ball. But it just creates that sort of fourth attacker, which is what I think this tactic needs in the match engine for our players to succeed at the moment. I think if we're too balanced, I don't think we can create those chances. We need to overload them. And we'll get caught now and again, but that's the risk we're going to take. Things are going well. Brendan Hughes is going to come off. We're going to put on Gilligan. Let's go Gilligan in this game. So to go defensive in this tactic, we're going to go to balance, time wasting up. I think that's pretty much it, you know. Maybe counter comes off as well. So no clicker chances created for us, 3 half chances. We were in a really bad run of form, though. That's to be factored into this. And it's a win, 1-0 for Burton Albion. That's a pretty good win for us, and probably the win that we needed just to confirm that we're not going to get relegated this year, which is always nice, of course. Okay, I'll see you in a few days then for the MK Dons game. I was just going through some of the players' training, and it looked like that some of the players in the individual training, I'd actually put the wrong months on, the wrong set of 3 months. I've just corrected all that. So they would have been on the wrong training for like about, I don't know, 10 days, something like that. So yeah, that's changed anyway. That's been fixed, but that was a mistake. I think I stopped doing something halfway through it, and I came back and must have put them on to like the December to March one instead of the March to end of the season, whatever it is, whatever the month I put down. Okay, anyway, back to today's game then. It's going to be the same tactic exactly, I think, just to see how it plays in a second game in a row. There's a suspension to Heller, so he comes out. So it's going to be Brendan Hughes that goes into the pivot role, and then Tom Kidden goes as the 10. Assistant manager says, recent praise justified, okay. Harley Harrison plays the ball out to the back line, into Hughes, Sam Hughes. Travels with it, plays the ball into nobody, gives it away actually. They win the ball, play straight behind where he was. They go through, they score, and it's 1-0. Play out from the back. Shaughnessy has it, plays it across to Larkin. Larkin plays it back into the middle to Taylor. He's got options ahead of him. Powell goes to the right-hand side, plays it straight to Keenan. Really, a bit direct really for my liking. Keenan gets it back though, plays it across to John King. Is John King going to get his goal? He doesn't go back to him. Joe Powell's a shot. It's a goal, and it's 1-1. We'll take that. Highlight for them. They throw the ball in from a throw-in. It goes to Powell, into Brendan Hughes. Good counter-attack here. A lot of options ahead. Good counter-attack in terms of the movements anyway. Brendan Hughes plays a terrible pass. I don't care if they get the ball here. He's got to be offside. Andrew has it. Doesn't matter. Plays it out. Play out quickly now. Now. Play it. Don't lose it. I mean, what is that? You could just play it into Trott's feet if you wanted to. Goes across to John King. Heads it towards goal. I feel like we're just going to struggle to create chances of John King. So let's try my alternative theory. Let's try and give nobody a role here that's attacking. So it'll be just working this out here. Let's try this. Okay, it stays 1.5 time. Nothing really happened in the second half. Let's try a CM attack. Let's just make Brendan Hughes a Mazzala, I guess. So he'll go forwards, but he'll also drift into these half spaces. That should actually work pretty good because they shouldn't really clash too much. His position should be around here. So they should be nicely spaced out. Actually, end up being like a 3 and a 1. And yeah, I don't know. Should be okay, that. Highlight for MK Dons to throw the ball into the box. It's headed towards goal twice. Who has missed that? Who has missed that header? Kamwa. Oh my god. He sort of gets barged first. And then he just, I don't know. Useless Kamwa, 2-1. Kamwa throw in, throws it to Keenan, gets it back. Tries to cross it, it gets cleared away. Andrew's going to place it across the back line, I think. Oh no, he goes long into William at front. Gilligan doesn't quite get it. Does a second time, though. Plays it into William. Terrible pass. And, I don't know. Just nothing we do seems to work with with one striker as well as it with two. Smith travels with it, plays it across to nobody, gives it away. Emmanuel Dennis gets it and plays it across to Dafter. They maintain their attack, play it back to the goalkeeper. There you go, long, we're going to win this surely. Get up, Smithy. Oh dear, not Smithy, I meant Hughes. Wow, I mean, there you go. 3-1, game over. Power the free kick. Far post headed away. William gets to it, plays it to Brendan Hughes. Got option to the left. Joe Powell gets to it. Is he going to take a touch and strike it? No, plays across. Goal. Good finish. William. 3-2. Okay, they've gone long from the goal kick. Hughes gets up. Gilligan isn't going to quite get there. And they're going to build another attack potentially. By the way, I actually changed the formation. I didn't really show it. I was just really messing around to see if we would come back because I thought the game was over, of course. Gilligan heads on to William. William to Camwa. I'll show you this in a second. Especially if we score. Camwa goes past his man. He's got nothing on. He's just going to cross this. He's crossed it towards nobody. Powell gets it. Plays it to Smith. Smith's going to go across. Play it into the box, is he? There you go, Powell. It's given a penalty. It's given a penalty. I can't believe it. Could be 3-3. It's a shame this doesn't mean anything, this game. Ah, he's missed it anyway. Okay, late highlight here. Kidons are playing out from the back. I don't know if they're actually playing for anything. Like promotion or a relegation. Powell goes through, plays into William. That's a great move, that is. And that should have been 3-3. It actually works really well then, the tactic. You had the CM attack getting on it. In fact, no, it was Gilligan, wasn't it? It was Gilligan that got onto that. Last minute highlight goes across to Andrew. William gets to this. He's going to beat his man. Is he going to whip in the cross? The answer is going to be no. Gilligan gets to it. Keenan, Gilligan, far post. Shaughnessy goes up for a header, and that's going to be collected by the keeper. And they have it. It's going to finish 3-2 to MK Dons. We'll say unlucky lads. I mean, we came back really well in the game. We created a lot of chances, had a really good XG and a lot of good stats in terms of the match stats. So it was generally a positive experience for us, but the result wasn't quite there. But that was okay. That was okay. We did our best to compete. We plugged some holes in our team and our formation. Thought it looked pretty good towards the end, and that's going to probably conclude our season. I'm thinking now, actually, is there even any point in doing another episode this season? Apart from it, no, I guess we'll do a stats review, right? I guess we'll do a stats review. What I might do is the next episode. What I might do is we'll play the Forest game. We'll do the end of season review. Go through the in-game end of season review. Go through the match stats, the player stats, all that kind of stuff, and then we'll start the first game of the next season. Maybe something like that. Maybe we do something like that where we can sort of transition the end of one season into the start of the next and do that as an episode. Not entirely sure actually how we're going to do this. I'm not too sure. We do need to do an end of season review, I think, because there has to be one. So that will definitely be happening. I'll have a think about this anyway. It could be that it's Forest end of season review, then it's our next season. Could be QPR Forest end of season review. Maybe it's just a short episode of Forest and end of season review. I'm not entirely sure how we're going to do this yet, but I'll have a think about it anyway off of camera. But thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the series, and I'll see you all, of course, next time.